Let me ask you something. Think about your daily habits. The good ones, the bad ones. Where do they actually come from? Now, we all like to think it's about willpower, or maybe motivation. But what if I told you the biggest factor is an invisible force, one that's quietly steering almost every choice you make? Well, today, we're going to uncover that force, and more importantly, learn how to use it to our advantage. So let's jump in the time machine and head back to the 1960s. I want you to meet a Hungarian psychologist named Laszlo Polgar. Now, Laszlo had this wild, totally radical idea. He believed that genius wasn't something you're born with, it was something you could build. And he was so convinced, he decided to run an experiment with his own future children as the test subjects. This quote right here was his entire philosophy. He basically thought the whole idea of natural talent was junk. For Laszlo, you could literally construct a genius from scratch, as long as you had the right training and, you guessed it, the right habits. All he needed was a partner who was on board and a skill to test his crazy theory on. He found that partner in his wife, Clara, and they decided chess would be their grand experiment. And listen, when they said total immersion, they were not kidding around. The kids were homeschooled. The house was literally overflowing with chess books. The walls were covered with pictures of chess legends. Their entire world, from the moment they woke up to the moment they went to sleep, was engineered for one single thing: creating chess masters. So the big question, did it work? Oh boy, did it work. The results were something out of a movie. The oldest, Susan, was crushing grown, seasoned chess players by the time she was just 4 years old. The middle child, Sophia, became a world champion. And then there's Judith, the youngest. She became the youngest grandmaster of all time, completely shattering Bobby Fischer's record. For the next 30 years, she was the #1 female player in the world, hands down. This wasn't just a success. It was unbelievable. So you gotta wonder, what was the real secret here? Was it just miserable, endless work, day in and day out? You'd think so, but surprisingly, no. The sisters always said they had a great childhood. They genuinely loved chess. There's this amazing story where Laszlo finds Sophia playing chess in the bathroom in the middle of the night, and she literally begs him, "Daddy, please, the pieces won't leave me alone." So the secret wasn't just the practice, it was something way deeper. The real secret? It was their environment. It was the culture the Polgars created. They built a world where being completely obsessed with chess was the most normal thing you could do. In fact, it's what got you praise, it's what got you respect. It was the language their family spoke. And that taps into a powerful, powerful force that affects all of us. Look, at our core, we're social animals. We're wired to belong. Think about it. For thousands of years, fitting in with your tribe meant survival. If you were cast out, that was basically a death sentence. And that deep-seated instinct, it's still running the show today. We have this profound subconscious urge to fit in, so we follow the unwritten rules of whatever group we're a part of. And that, right there, is the secret sauce. We don't just pick up habits randomly. We adopt behaviors that make us feel like we belong. For the Polgar sisters, practicing chess for 8 hours straight wasn't some horrible chore. It was normal. It was attractive because it's what everyone they loved and respected was doing. That's the incredible pull of belonging. Just how powerful is this pull, though? Well, back in the 50s, a psychologist named Solomon Asch ran a now famous experiment to find out. He'd bring one unsuspecting person into a room full of actors. He'd show them a simple puzzle. Just match the length of a line on the left to one of 3 lines on the right. Super easy, right? Anyone could get it right. Okay, but here's where it gets wild. After a couple of easy rounds, Ash told all the actors to start giving the same obviously wrong answer, and you could watch the real subject just squirm. They'd get confused, they'd laugh nervously, and then, an astonishing amount of the time, they would completely ignore what their own eyes were telling them and just go along with the crowd. Get this, a staggering 75% of people gave the wrong answer at least once, just so they wouldn't have to stand out. All right, so the pressure to conform sounds a little, I don't know, dystopian, right? But here's a really cool part. We can actually flip this whole thing on its head and use it to our advantage. If you want to build better habits, the secret isn't to fight this force, it's to join the right groups. Let's break down the 3 tribes that we all copy. These are the 3 big ones we imitate. First, the people who are close to us, like our friends and family. Second, the many, our wider tribe or the crowd. And third, the powerful, the high-status people we look up to. The real game changer is realizing you can consciously choose who you imitate, and by doing that, you can intentionally design your own habits. First up, the close. I'm talking about the people you see and interact with every single day. Their influence on you is absolutely massive. Check this out. One incredible study found that your chance of becoming obese shoots up by 57% if you have a close friend who becomes obese. That's insane, right? We just soak up the habits of people around us like a sponge. Next up, the many. This is pretty much the Ashline experiment playing out in our everyday lives. Trying to go against the grain of your social group takes a ton of energy. It is way easier to be wrong with the crowd than to be right all by yourself. So what's the ultimate life hack? Stop fighting the current. Go find and join a group where the habit you want to have is the normal, everyday behavior. All of a sudden, change doesn't feel hard. It feels effortless. And finally, we copy the powerful. Why do we do this? It's simple. We're all chasing the things that they've already got. Respect, admiration, success. We see what's working for the top performers in our field, and we instinctively want to copy their playbook. This isn't about being a mindless follower. It's about being smart and learning from those who have already paved the way. Okay, so that's the theory. It all makes sense, but how do we actually put this into action? How can you start, like, today, to engineer your social world to build the habits you really want for yourself? Here it is, your simple 4-step action plan. Number 1, find people who are already living the way you want to live and spend more time with them. Number 2, join a culture where your desired habit is just the norm. Now, to make it stick, find a group you already have something in common with. A perfect example is a fitness group for nerds or a book club for entrepreneurs. And finally, you gotta stay in the group. When you belong to that tribe, your new habit becomes part of your identity, and that's how you make it last. So, we've seen how one man's wild experiment proved that your environment can literally create genius. And we've seen how that exact same invisible force of social norms is shaping your life right now as we speak. And that brings me to one final really important question for you. Seriously, take a good hard look at the people you spend the most time with. Your friends, your coworkers, your family. Whether you realize it or not, they are programming your habits day in and day out. The only real question left is the one you see right here. Who are you letting them shape you into? If this explainer gave you some food for thought and you want more breakdowns like this to help you level up, do us a huge favor. Smash that like button. It honestly helps more than you know. And if someone you know needs to hear this message, share it with them. And of course, to make sure you never miss what's next, hit subscribe to Myrix Media. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.